Welcome, everyone, to the Everything Show, episode 339. I am your host, Matrix Lord 212, and I'm with Chris. What's up, Chris?
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, David?
What's up, guys?
All right, so what is the news? I'm going to start with Chris today.
Well, just on a lighter note, because I can get this out there pretty quickly. Another writer was brought on board for the Transformers spin-off series that's going to be coming about in the next few years. Apparently, it's going to take place on Cybertron. It's going to be a prequel to the first Transformers and everything we've seen now. Not directed by Michael Bay, for people out there who hate Michael Bay. But still within the same universe. It's not leaving this universe. Anything that you saw Michael Bay's universe is going to get led up to, but there's going to be a different writing style, different new characters. They're going to have their proto forms. I'm really hoping for a Wreckers movie, because one of my favorite characters, actually my favorite Transformer character, is Ultra Magnus, who in some variations led the Wreckers. So I hope that he's going to be in one of these movies. I'm also hoping for a Megatron origin story like they did in the book Transformers Exodus, where he was a gladiator on Cybertron.
Wow.
And I'm hoping they do that, because they can't really do Optimus's backstory as a whole movie because he was just a librarian. So that'd be kind of boring. But I'm excited for that. I'm really excited to see how they handle this, and just a pure Cybertron movie. That sounds really interesting.
So now we're going to have the regular Transformers movie and the prequels?
You're going to have the main movies, 5 and 6. I believe one or both are going to be directed by Michael Bay, following the story after Age of Extinction. And then we're getting an expanded universe. So I guess we're going to get things that are happening at the same time, beforehand, and maybe even in the future. We might get like a Beast Wars or something like that. So I'm excited.
I would say that after Transformers generated over like $1 billion.
Well, the biggest thing of Extinction, in my opinion, I hated Extinction, mainly because the reason I went to go see Extinction, and I haven't seen any of the others since the first one in theaters, was because Grimlock was going to be in it. As a kid, I loved Grimlock, and if you've played the Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron games, Grimlock was actually given a pretty good backstory, and I thought, okay, Michael Bay, you have this story gift-wrapped to you. You could easily integrate this into your cinematic universe, but just the treatment of Grimlock was shameful, and the Dinobots in general got really they were put on display for a visual spectacle, and were just there because let's use them, so because they're here, why not?
Right.
Yeah, and
the thing about that too, and it's actually a very less known thing that happened. That actually wasn't Michael Bay's fault. That was
I'm not blaming Michael Bay for everything. I do blame stuff.
I mean for the pure Dinobot stuff, because Michael Bay didn't want them in the movie at all.
It was Hasbro.
Hasbro was like, "Hey, put these in the movie."
Because Hasbro was like with the movies, they're like, when you can have new people in there,
right?
So we can have toys.
Michael Bay from the first movie, when people were like, "Hey, are you gonna have Dinobots in the second one?" He was like, "No, because they don't make sense." And his reasoning was actually pretty. I understood it from his perspective. He said, "Why would robots who want to come down and disguise themselves as dinosaurs?"
Well, if you played the Cybertron games, there's actually a reason that the Decepticons abducted Grimlock and his fellow Autobots, and they were training them to be like warhounds. By doing that, they used DNA of dinosaurs and mutated Autobots into what they were become. They don't transform on command. Like, it's kind of like a Hulk scenario with Grimlock. When you play as him, it is very much his rage when he fights turns him into that T-Rex. And that is a much better handle of Grimlock. And Grimlock and Optimus do not agree with each other. They don't see eye to eye. They didn't during the War for Cybertron. And, I will forgive Age of Extinction if this prequel movie actually does justice to the Dinobots and implements that origin in there. Because,
they're not going to be in it.
Well, yeah, I know, that's sad. But, I mean, it would have been better if that happened and they weren't just you know, why are they dinosaurs? Oh, I don't know. There's a reason for why they're dinosaurs.
Well,
But-
the thing we have to remember too is that those games are like you know, they're a separate universe.
Yeah, I know.
Michael
That's
Bay
just-
wanted to follow. I believe Hasbro too wanted to follow the G1 origin, which was the Autobots built the Dinobots.
Right.
But in this movie, they decided to do this whole. Well, let's just have them in there just because. You know what it was like? It was almost like the same scenario that happened with Venom in Spider-Man 3. Everyone,
Yeah.
you know, Marvel was like, put him in there. Everybody wants him, and Sam Raimi was like,
I don't
doesn't
want
make
him.
sense.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I just want to talk about Transformers for a minute. Age of Extinction. A lot of things in that movie don't make sense. There is a reason why they have spaceships. Okay, I don't care if you're Optimus Prime or the Autobots. You can't fly through galaxies. Okay, your armor ain't that strong. So when I see something like that at the end of the movie, and he's just gonna fly through galaxies, that's just absurd.
It really is. I'm
I'm
like,
sorry.
when I saw that moment in the theaters, I literally said I spoke. So everyone heard me, and this got a good reaction. I said, "And the shark has been jumped, ladies and gentlemen." And
I
everyone
just said, I remember saying, what the fuck? Like, I just said it the moment I saw that. It was like a Superman moment or like something out of the Matrix when he flies at the end. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I don't know why that surprised everybody because the after credit scene from the first one was Starscream doing the same thing.
No, but see, the thing, what I'm talking about with Optimus going into space, they needed to have spaceships to go through interdimensional travel, like to basically travel through galaxies faster. He can't just fly in space.
Yeah, because
And
But
have
that's
all
how they
limited
came
energy.
down in the first one, though. Like in the first one, they left their ship in the first one, and they were in their protoforms and came down. It would have made more sense for him to turn back into his protoform, because their protoforms can fly through space.
Okay.
But the thing is, I see what you're saying though. He had the night ship, the part that jettisoned from Lockdown ship. Why didn't he just go back to that
Exactly.
and take that with him?
that makes sense. And apparently, in these Transformer movies, there is no such thing as logic.
He should have taken the friggin' Dinobots with him.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, what happened?
Why does he got to be the hero? That's what I don't understand. Another thing too, if you're a leader, you don't leave your team behind. Like how do you just like screw you guys? I gotta take care of this. Like no, you don't. The captain sits with the ship. You don't just like, Kirk don't just say, hey, I gotta take care of the spot. Just be captain for a couple
And like,
years
who
from
did
gone.
he leave in
It doesn't,
charge? Like,
he didn't.
Bumblebee.
yeah, I
Like,
mean, it doesn't make sense. The only thing I can think of is if they have some semblance of and I might forgive them for this in the fifth one, if they say this, unless they're planning on having a new leader come in, which it has to be Ultra Magnus. You can't do Hot
but
Rod
he
yet.
has the Matrix with him,
Yeah,
so he's not there. He's gone.
yeah. But I'm saying unless they're gonna have like a tentative Autobot leader come down at the time, because that's happened before in other media for
Yeah,
Transformers.
you know what's going to happen? The Autobots are going to get annihilated because Galvatron's down there,
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
and they have no
That's the
leader.
one-
Like you just.
The one pro I will give Age of Extinction was when they name dropped Galvatron, and I will say, at least in his robot form, Galvatron doesn't look that bad.
Yeah.
I don't like it that humans created
Yeah,
Galvatron.
still that's
Wow.
dumb. They tried to tie it in that his Megatron's like brain patterns or whatever it was
You know,
are going. Was it?
they had the answer. They had the answer to that in frickin' Dark of the Moon, and they didn't do it. They had Shockwave in that movie. He should have survived and rebuilt the Decepticons, rebuilding Megatron as Galvatron.
Yeah.
Because he's their chief science officer. He made frickin' Devastator. So, like, why didn't they... Like, I just don't understand it. They threw him in there. He didn't even transform. He did nothing in Dark of the Moon. He should have just survived and then showed up in this one and been like, hey, it was me. I rebuilt them. But
Yeah,
no, instead he shows up as a frickin' two-headed Decepticon in this movie.
Yeah, the Transformer films aren't really. They're big on visual spectacle, but everything else they seriously lack. I mean, Devastator was that huge one in Revenge of the Fallen, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the one that they decided to give wrecking balls to.
yeah.
Whose bright idea was that? You know, if anything, I would pay money to be in that meeting when someone brought that up. You know what would be great? If we gave him wrecking balls. That would be a nice visual joke.
Hello, Albert.
Oh,
Hello.
Transformers fan or no?
Yeah, I want to know how that
Yeah,
happened.
kind of.
Kind of. Okay.
I heard what you were talking about earlier with the whole flying into space thing.
Yeah. Whoops, sorry.
That was pretty the whole when he flew into space, that was kind of strange.
It's kind of like, I guarantee you this is what was going through Optimus' mind as he was breaking the atmosphere and going into space. This didn't really make much sense. I can't
Well,
go
you know
back
what?
now.
Well, something happens up there, he encounters something, then he comes back, and then he finds the Earth is, like, destroyed, like Galvatron's on the throne, and it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Oh,
I can
sorry
imagine
about that.
I should have taken the ship, but I can't go back because that was too awesome of an exit.
Hey, maybe some
I'm telling you
Autobots
what's
are
gonna
hiding
happen.
by a volcano or a Grand Canyon or something. Maybe I can find. Yeah.
I'm telling you what's going to happen. He's going to be gone. He's not going to be in the 5th movie, and they're going to have some like new leader or some new Autobots show up or something.
Oh,
and
he's
be like-
definitely. Let me tell
They're
you
going to
something.
be like, what the hell are you doing out here?
They're definitely gonna have him in the next movie.
I don't think he's
Yeah.
going to have a big role, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to... I think he's going to be in it, but I don't think he's going to have a big role. I really
Well,
don't.
like I said, like I was trying to say before, because it made so much money, you could better believe that Michael Bay is going to be doing the next one.
Oh, it was the highest grossing movie of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And,
he's
uh,
definitely.
They're going to pull a Godzilla. They're going to market it that Peter Cullen is going to be in the film, that Prime's going to be in the film, and he's only going to be there for a few minutes.
You know what I don't understand
Hey,
in this
wait a
day and
minute
age?
now.
Why don't
Wait
they
a
film
minute.
movies back to back to save money? They do Lord of the Rings. They're gonna do with Avengers. They're gonna do with Justice League. Why don't they film like 3 Transformers movies at the same time?
Because they don't plan ahead in that case. They really just plan on, okay, let's do one movie at a time. We'll see, we'll gauge the audience's reaction. If it's successful, yeah, we'll make another one. If not, we're not going to risk, 3 bombs, one after the other. You might as well just risk one and then be done with the franchise after
See,
that.
if I was able to take over like franchises, right? One thing I would do is Robert Englund will return as Freddy Krueger, and I would make him do like 3 of them, and I wouldn't even tell anybody, and they just pop them out one after the other every year, so that we have something to sink your teeth into, or you get actors from Star Wars that you know are getting up there in age, like, and you just like start filming stuff with them for like
Well,
movies or something.
sometimes when you do that, though, they don't sign their contracts. They're like, hey, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. Like, I only want to do one more. And then it's like,
Yeah, but then sometimes you have the actors who refuse to do sequels, and then their careers go on the toilet, and then they'll do any sequel for like a discounted rate because they just need to make
they'll
money.
come back. But it's like Matt Damon when he was doing the Bourne films. Like, he didn't sign his contract until he knew the director was on board because he only wanted to work with him.
Right. But now he's coming back too, I believe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, like speaking of contracts, like I always hear that Michael Keaton was saying that he'd play Bruce Wayne again if Tim Burton was going to do it.
Right.
Here's an idea. You want a Batman film that's new, original, and yet appeals to the fans? Make Batman Beyond, have Michael Keaton play old Bruce Wayne.
Well, that was the original plan. That
Yeah,
he was going to do that.
Not Michael Bay, but Tim Burton with a futuristic Gotham. Who doesn't want to see that?
See, my point is this. You have a successful thing, like you have Arrow is successful and The Flash is successful, right? And now you just pooped on them for the movies, that you passed them up. They can't even be in the movies, right? It's all right. So if DC is going to be doing multiple timelines, and they're not worried about people getting friggin' confused, and it just a Flash here, a Flash there.
That's why Miller casting is horrible.
Well, what I'm saying is, then why not you're already going to do a Batman animated movie from the 60s with Adam West and Burt Ward. Why don't you do a Michael Keaton Batman movie and just throw it out there. What's the difference at this point in time? Because the way I feel, that something's going to bomb, really stink bad from, like, you know, DC is just going to, and they're going to need to throw something out there because they're banking on this one Batman, this one movie to create this whole franchise. It's going to tank. So why not throw other things in the water? They used to have animated movies everywhere. Why don't you just throw a Michael Keaton Batman? Just throw it out there. So what? It doesn't have to be dark. You could do it like a sequel to whatever. He's just don't even explain anything. He's just Batman. That's it. Just it's years later. He's Batman. That's it. You don't need to like go too much detail, plot, and what has he been doing for years. No, throw him in there.
Yeah, but they won't do that because Marvel's not doing that. And if Marvel doesn't do it, DC won't do it.
Well, sorry, so Marvel is just destroying the well that all this creative stuff is coming from.
Well, here's the thing. Whether people aren't a fan of that Civil War is coming and that's just being pushed into one movie, but you know, regardless of what you feel about the stories, we can't deny the facts that both critically and financially, Marvel is just kicking the crap out of DC, laughing all the way to the bank as they do so. And DC's plan, whoever came up with it, I think it was an idiot who came up with this, like, okay, let's throw the team together all at once. The whole point of Phase 1 was...
thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. The whole point of Phase 1 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe was not just getting the team together. In fact, you know, really, except with the exception of Iron Man 2, with so many Avengers references in it, a lot of the films really kept to one purpose. Two purposes. Introducing the character and building this world that we can believe in. Once you have the world, then you put the team in. They're doing the opposite. You put the team in, and then you try to build a world around that.
Yeah.
We don't know the status quo for this world. Like, there's some questions that have gone unanswered. How long have metahumans been active in this new world? How long has Batman been active? What huge events have happened in the meantime before Man of Steel? Has Nightfall happened? Has as Jean-Paul Valley, have the Court of Owls happened? Mostly Batman stuff because Batman's been there. How long has Wonder Woman been away from Themyscira? We don't know this stuff because we never got time to grow with these characters.
Correct.
Why did Wonder Woman lose so much weight?
Like, seriously, building the characterization for the Avengers worked so well is because we got time to get to know the characters. That way, coming into the Avengers, we knew how these characters acted, and all we needed to do was see how they would work together. Now,
you know what's going to happen? You know what I predict?
Yeah, what's going to happen?
Okay, this is just a like fantasy football type of thing.
All right.
I believe they pissed off Christopher Nolan because they just wouldn't listen to him with the snapping of the neck thing that caused him to leave. They could have had another Batman. I predict he's going to go to Marvel, and Joss Whedon is going to go to DC.
Joss Whedon said that. Actually, Joss Whedon made a joke about that. He said he would go to DC, except they would never hire him for the stuff he does.
And I'm probably the odd man out here, but I never, ever want to see a Christopher Nolan Marvel movie.
Well, I think Christopher Nolan can do really thought-provoking stuff. Now, put him in a
sorry.
Give him a cosmic Marvel movie. Give him Nova. Imagine what he could do with Nova.
Hey, Gloria.
Hey.
Gloria's back. What's up, Gloria?
Are you talking about the comic book character Nova?
Well, yeah, we were introduced to the Nova Corps Guardians of the Galaxy. We were saying that Christopher Nolan, if he went to Marvel, what could he do? I said, well, he does like those giant space operas, so give him a cosmic character.
Adam Warlock.
I know the Guardians of the Galaxy are taken.
Give him Adam Warlock in the Infinity Watch or something.
I think, didn't Christopher Nolan say that he was going back to, like, low-budget independent films?
He ain't doing that. He'd probably do, like, I could see him doing a Marvel movie.
That's what George Lucas is doing. George Lucas has returned to low-budget independent films.
Yeah.
I don't think Joss Whedon's going to do anything for DC because his style, his humor-filled style of writing and directing, there's really... That DC has made it very clear that they don't want that. They want a universe that you can take seriously, and by seriously we mean little to no humor. They say the no joke policy is a rumor, it's fake, but to be honest, given what we saw with Man of Steel, would you be surprised at all if we're going to be seeing no humor with Hal Jordan or Barry
They
Allen?
think because The Dark Knight was dark, it made them tons of money. They think that every movie has to be like that.
But there was humor in it too. I mean, my favorite joke, my favorite like little bit of that made me laugh in The Dark Knight was when he gave the plans for the Batman for Fox, and Fox is like, "Oh, you want to be able to turn your head?" He's like, "Man, would sure make backing out of the driveway easier." I laugh.
Yeah.
I laugh. I'm like, that eases the tension a bit. But
Well, I agree. I didn't like Man of Steel. I just wasn't feeling it. It didn't feel like a Superman movie to me. Man of Steel felt like an alien invasion movie.
Yeah.
And tell me the ship didn't look like the episode City of Death, where they had the Jaggeroth, the ship was down, and then it was coming up like that and exploded. It looks like the same thing from Doctor Who. And I've seen other movies like War of the Worlds, it was trying to be like a War of the Worlds type of ship that came up, and like it just copying off of too many different movies.
I watched someone who was saying that a lot of the Kryptonian stuff looks like H.R. Geiger's hand-me-downs.
I actually thought it was the Matrix movie for a minute.
That's hilarious.
I said this is, I actually thought it was a Matrix movie for a minute because they used the same special effects from the Matrix when Neo was fighting the thing. I'm like,
I know what you mean, Dave, but because when Zod had put his helmet on, I was like, oh look, he's a space jockey.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Is this the Everything show? I got here really late. Okay.
Yeah.
they had like the trunk and everything. I'm like, I wonder if they have xenomorphs on their ship. I mean, Superman screwed then.
Now, the Man of
Speaking
Steel
of the
is
Matrix, the Wachowski brothers have a new show on Netflix.
Sense8, right?
Yeah, okay. It looked weird. I saw the trailer. I was kind of conflicted. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay, I lost your window. Okay, there's your window again. Sorry.
I have to take a look at that.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch like the first episode. The trailer I had conflicted views. It looked kind of Matrix-like.
Everything looks Matrix-like. Even Jupiter Ascending, I didn't get to see that either yet. Why don't you just make Matrix like 4, 5, and 6?
Yeah,
and
it's like, why don't you
be done
make
with it?
Matrix 4, 5, and 6? That's what people want.
They had a meeting a couple of years ago. They actually sat down. 3D. Hey, let's get into that. And it's like,
going back to Man of Steel is not without its moments. I think the one moment where it almost felt like Superman felt was when Clark was flying for the very first time. And he actually smiled. I looked at my friend and I said, "Get a camera." She's like, "Why?" I said, "This is probably the only time we're going to see him genuinely smile in this movie."
I like the Christopher Reeve Superman the best.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to surpass that.
Well, I think, though, personally, growing up in the 90s, the Tim Daly Superman from the animated series was my Superman.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Fair enough. I just didn't... I didn't like the last two Superman movies, whether it be Man of Steel or Superman Returns. I just didn't... There was something...
I hated Superman Returns because my whole thing was from a merchandising, marketing background, working in the toy stores. I'm laughing because I'm like, who is Superman going to fight? A human. Oh, how fun that is going to be. No villains in the case. That's why it's like 99 cents a figure. Superman's fighting himself.
Fighting Lex Luthor. He's fighting, but in theory, it could have been cool because Lex Luthor is an evil genius. He can equip himself with kryptonite.
They should have just put a friggin' villain in the movie, a super villain.
Well, Lex Luthor is like a super
He's not a super. You try to sell Superman Returns figures. I'm not going. Why am I echoing? Yeah, you try to sell Superman Returns figures with no villain in the case. And you tell me how that's going to work.
Well, like there was let me clarify on this. There was a Lex Luthor action figure, and it was based on the comics. There was a time when Lex Luthor had like a super suit that looked kind of like. Yeah,
They
and
could have
so,
just threw villains in the case, even if they weren't in the movie, just to have the kids something to play with.
Yeah, like here's one villain that the animated series did that I think it was his first episode. The first villain he fought was Parasite. Do that. A humanoid person that can absorb Superman's strength. Look at that. You don't even need a lot of special effects for that. You just need a guy, and you can have the effects of him punching Superman. Look, that would have made the film 10 times more enjoyable. Though Bryan Cranston, I feel, would be better in this new. Speaking in the new film, Bryan Cranston would be a better Lex Luthor than Jesse Eisenberg. Just saying.
well, the Superman versus Batman, I think it's going to destroy what's left of the DC franchise. They're going to have to reboot after that.
Well, financially, no. Financially, they're going to do fine because this movie, whether it's good or not, it's going to sell. And Suicide Squad is going to set the standard for what this universe is going to be like. Because this is not a team that many people know. This is a very big risk for DC, like Guardians of the Galaxy was for Marvel. We're bringing an unknown factor into this, and we need to see how it's going to work.
Well, let me ask you a question, Dave. How could you focus on Batman versus Superman when you have Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern, freaking Martian Manhunter, Cyborg, all these people in the first friggin' movie?
You can't.
So how could you, like, give them screen time? And Aquaman's in it, too. I mean, like, what are they going to do? They're going to be like, hey, man, we need to help Batman take down Superman? Because that's what it looks like to me.
They're gonna do. I really don't think they're gonna have big roles in this movie.
I think they're gonna help Batman defeat Superman.
I don't even think they're gonna do that.
Who is? Let me ask you this. I saw an interesting piece of news. This is related to the topic of DC movies. I think it was on the Philip DeFranco show. They're currently filming
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they're filming Suicide Squad in Toronto. And I saw an interesting looking scene. It looks like the Joker has like a purple pinkish purple Lambert.
And Batman's riding on top of it.
And Batman's right. Oh, you saw that? Okay.
Yeah, that's big. That's like all over the place.
Yeah. So who's playing Batman? I didn't know Batman was in Suicide Squad. Who's playing Batman?
Well, it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be.
It's Ben Affleck again. Okay.
It's supposed to be him, but I have a funny feeling that Ben Affleck's not actually in the movie. I have a funny feeling that that's going to be just his stunt double, and it's just going to be a flashback sequence.
So Batman's just going to be in a short flashback sequence.
The rumor of this movie is, the big rumor that's going around this movie is that the whole point of the movie is the government gets this, they get this squad together just to get intel on Batman. Because apparently this Batman has never been seen before. But the only person apparently who's ever seen this Batman is the Joker and possibly Harley Quinn.
What do you mean? It's the Batman?
Isn't this in the same universe as the Christopher Nolan movies?
No.
Not?
No, it's not. Let me ask you a question. So, in other words, I thought that the Batman that's in Batman vs. Superman, he's about to retire. He's coming out of retirement.
He's already retired, but this is the thing. Apparently, he's either this is a rumor, so this could be completely wrong. But from what I've seen, a lot of the stuff that I've seen seems to point to this fact or to this rumor being a fact that this Batman went into retirement after either defeating all of the supervillains that have ever been, or never encountering any supervillains.
Hold on. We got echo. 1 second, Mackenzie. I'm sorry. How are you? I have to mute you guys because it's interfering with.
Daniel, shush! Hi guys.
Hi, Mackenzie. How are you, Mackenzie?
I'm good. My friend's on Sky with me. Daniel, say hi. Daniel, say hi.
Hello.
Oh?
Okay. Hold on, Mackenzie. We're actually in a deep debate, so let me just mute you guys. Hi, Jacob.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Okay. If you want where I think the Suicide Squad movie is going, if you haven't seen the animated film Batman Assault on Arkham, I really think it's going to follow that. In that version, I'll just give a brief summary of the movie. The data on Task Force X is being held by the Riddler, who is currently locked in Arkham because of Batman. And Amanda Waller sends the Suicide Squad to break into Arkham to get that data back. And we see, while that's happening, Batman is looking for through Gotham because the Joker hid a bomb inside of Gotham, a chemical bomb. And those two stories do cross into each other at some point. And it's not a bad Batman film. He just really makes an appearance here and there. But it's worth a watch. I mean...
What about the rumor that Batman vs. Superman, they have that Commissioner Gordon was killed by the Joker?
That's stupid because, like, seriously, I hear that they don't want that Dick Grayson could even be dead in this universe, which you're ticking off a huge number of people with that because you look at that. You can't do Forever Evil, you can't do Battle of the Cowl, and you can't do Teen Titans. And don't even try to tell me you can do Tim Drake's Teen Titans because no one cares about Tim Drake's Teen Titans.
They're not going to do Teen Titans because Cyborg is just going to be a part of the Justice League. They announced that
I know,
today.
and it's stupid because that is arguably one of the best well-known teams in the DC history. And I'm talking about the new Teen Titans with Dick Grayson, Starfire, Beast Boy, Raven, etc. And you're going to... And yeah, here's a rumor that for the Batman solo film, the villain will be the Red Hood. Now, take that information with the fact that we know one Robin was killed, and that Robin is most likely Dick Grayson. They will make the Red Hood Dick Grayson instead of Jason. How stupid is that?
Right.
Well, I mean, that fits into what I was saying before we got interrupted. The rumor is that this Batman apparently never faced any of his supervillains yet, or he's defeated all of them, and the only one who's willing to talk about him is the Joker, which to me makes no sense.
Yes, Mackenzie.
I'll just be right back, okay?
Yeah, Mackenzie, you know what? We're going to do another cast after this, because they're talking like DC deep conversation with that. So it's okay if you guys want to drop out, you and Daniel. All right?
I was just wondering, what are we going to talk about in the next cast?
I'll talk to you about it off air. Okay? I'll come in afterwards.
Sorry, hold on just a minute, please. Daniel!
Yeah.
Be quiet for just a second. I'm trying to listen. What?
Okay.
Oh, you joined it! Daniel!
Yeah.
Hi, Daniel.
Okay, hold on, guys. I'm sorry for this, but we're in the middle of a cast. So, Mackenzie, I'll talk to you later. Daniel, I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right. And Daniel, who I don't know who you are, I'll talk to you later. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Back on track.
Sorry for the interruption.
All right.
And this is what I've been talking about.
They're cool.
What's that?
They're cool and everything. It's just that they were.
No. This is why I said I wanted to do this off air to discuss protocol, because I have to know who's coming in the show, because they may not like what we're talking about, and then it's like party time in the USA, and meanwhile we're talking about something else. So my apologies to the viewers, and they're awesome. They are awesome.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Steve.
I was just going to say, getting back on topic, yeah, Cyborg is one of my favorite characters from the DC universe. I am excited that they're doing a Cyborg movie, but I think that sucks that they're not going to do Teen Titans. I mean, when I think of Cyborg, I think of Teen Titans, not Justice League.
Well, they are doing a Teen Titans TV show, apparently, or a Netflix series or something like that.
Live action?
Yeah, apparently.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, but it's not going to be part of It's not going to be part of their movie universe, which is like, why?
Yeah, I don't.
Is that it could be a part of the Flash and Arrow universe, which I think would work actually really well.
Yeah.
Does anybody have the DC list of the order of the movies that they're going to be?
I will actually look at that in a second. I'm actually going to look that up now.
Because my plan is this. There has to be some type of contingency plan if Batman vs. Superman fails, because they're filming movies one after the other. So no matter what, if Batman vs. Superman fails, we probably will be forced to see a two-part Justice League, right?
I think it's already 2 parts.
After the Batman vs Superman, right?
Yeah, I think it's already 2 parts.
I've got a list, but I think somebody else has it before me.
March 25th, 2016 will be Batman v Superman, and after that, August 5th, 2016 will be Suicide Squad, followed by Wonder Woman on June 23rd, 2017. We get November 17th, 2017 will be Justice League Part 1. March 23rd, 2018 will be The Flash. Aquaman will be on July 7th, 2018. April 5th, 2019 is Shazam, but that is not yet confirmed whether or not that's part of this DC universe with the Batman Superman. June 14th, 2019 will be Justice League Part 2. April 3rd, 2020 will be Cyborg. And there's also June 19th, 2020 will be Green Lantern.
Okay.
With also
this is where they're
rumored,
backwards.
Yeah, and a rumored Sandman movie and Justice League Dark.
Okay.
But
So you're
along
telling
with,
me, like we were talking off air, that it's going to be like 10 years before we see Superman and Man of Steel Part 2, basically.
yeah,
It's going to be in there somewhere.
That's
they're probably
ridiculous. Okay, even Marvel don't do stupid mistakes like that. Like, you're always going to have a Captain America, you're always going to have a Thor, you're always going to have those movies besides Avengers or Justice League. So where's the Batman movie and where's the Superman movie?
Well, I think they're going to wait to see how Batman versus Superman does before doing another sequel. That's what
Probably because they're going to kill it.
Couldn't they fit it in somewhere in between all
They
of
could
them?
fit a Man of Steel 2 in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think they want to wait until, from what I had read, they want to wait until see how well Batman versus Superman does before doing another.
But you see, at least Marvel eased us into the characters. This, we're getting thrown down our throat, whether we like it or not. And it's like, enough already.
Well, see, I'm confused because originally I heard that they were going to make Batman versus Superman a sequel to the Dark Knight series, but it's not a different universe.
No.
So are they going to do a new origin for Batman, or what are they going to
No.
do?
They're not even. Well, that's.
already exists.
It's
Batman was. This is the way they're doing it, Chris. Batman was around during Man of Steel and before Man of Steel. In fact, he's been around for years, like decades almost, apparently.
Well, I mean, what's the origin story then? I mean, if you're rebooting Batman,
we're gonna see it. We're gonna see his origin story apparently in this Batman Superman movie, because apparently this is a spoiler, but apparently they shot a scene where you see a movie theater, and on the placard it says Mask of Zorro.
Yeah.
So
they're basically going to do everybody's origin in like one movie, which is stupid.
Other than Superman's, because we already know, like we already saw it in Man of Steel.
That's not. It's going to be Amazing Spider-Man 2 times like 27.
Yeah, like the thing is, if you want a way to ease people into another character, look at how Arrow introduced Barry Allen. They didn't throw him in as the Flash right away. They had him as Barry Allen first. We were eased into the character, and we were told about what life's like for him. And even we got introduced to Cisco Ramon and Caitlin Snow, even. I mean, probably one of the best scenes was when Cisco used that gun from Dr. Light on Deathstroke. I mean, how awesome was that? One of the few people who can say they knocked Deathstroke on his rear.
Does Arrow and the Flash TV shows, does that take place in the same universe as Batman?
Oh wait, as what? No, different universe.
Okay, it does not take place in the same universe as Man of Steel or Batman versus.
But here's what ticks me off, is that they have the nerve to say, we're not doing this in the same universe because we're making a multiverse, and then everyone cries, Crisis on Infinite Earths, that's what they're doing. No.
And what's even worse is Supergirl is technically part of the movie universe.
Yeah, this is...
No, she's not.
What do you mean?
No, she's not. It's a different Superman altogether.
What?
Yeah.
So
she's in the same universe as the Flash and Arrow.
Oh, so she's the DC TV universe.
Wait a minute.
Okay, DC TV universe versus DC movie universe. Two different
Yeah,
universes.
because in the trailer she goes
they
to
said
say,
they destroyed New York's Metropolis, though.
No, it's a different Superman apparently.
Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
You know
what's
what?
funny is we're confused over this,
I
and
don't
this is
even know.
exactly the thing they wanted to avoid by keeping the universes separate.
Jesus.
Can
I
you
don't even
see
know.
the irony?
Yeah.
Oh,
They
that's
should just
no,
say
no,
it.
that's not the Superman for the movie. That's Superman 27. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Because apparently Superman is going to be referenced in this show, and he's never going to show up like fully, but like they're going to reference him
So
a
what's
whole
like
bunch
Dean
of times.
Cain or something?
Huh?
Who's gonna be like Dean Cain from Lois and Clark? Like Superman? I mean,
I don't even know. Because apparently, like, there's a scene in the trailer where she's like, it's not an S, it's a symbol of like my planet, and everyone's like, oh, see, they referenced Man of Steel, but it's not Man of Steel.
Oh, that's.
And
nice.
I'm like, what? Like, what?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, you know.
And Doctor Doom's a blogger. That's just a hacker. That's another. But
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like it's a
Dr. Doom!
They're setting up the multiverse acting as in the, they're like whenever they're asked, oh, you're doing Crisis on Infinite Earth. DC has always skirted around that question. Do you know why they're calling it a multiverse? They want people to think they're doing Crisis on Infinite Earth, but they will not do it. The only reason
in the translator, when you type in Infinite Earths for 2015, it's called Secret Wars. But anyway. Yeah.
But still, I mean, the only way that they can pull off Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it wouldn't be good, but that's the only way they can pull it off, is if this movie universe absolutely fails and they pull a Crisis on Infinite Earths, and that's how you can incorporate Stephen Amell, Grant Gustin, and whoever's playing Supergirl. I mean, then DC will be like, we had this plan all along. Come here, guys.
You just have the Flash go to that universe and do something to just erase it, and that's just over. With the timeline. Yeah, like the Flash handled the multiverse idea actually really well. They broke it down, they simplified the multiverse in a way that people can understand. And yet, when we get into the Flash movie, without a doubt, we're gonna see multiverse probably or time travel, and they're going to give us a complicated explanation of it. Yeah, well.
Probably, yeah.
I'm not really interested in the Flash movie.
Arrow is on Netflix. I watched most of season 1 of Arrow, and in the beginning I liked it, but then as the season progressed, I lost interest.
All right, I think for now, what we should do now is, because I want to get everybody else to participate, so we should talk about something else that we all could participate in. Well, I mean, I'm participating, but I want Gloria. I want to get us a topic that Gloria's going to be able to participate in, too.
Gloria, you got
there's a rumor, there's a Star Wars rumor that I read about today. I don't know if you guys heard about it.
Is it the Andy Serkis thing?
Yeah, well, there's a rumor that Darth Plagueis is going to be in Episode 7.
I didn't hear that at all. I don't know about that.
Well, look it up. I'm not. It's a rumor. It's a rumor.
Yeah, I heard something a while ago, but.
That's not the Star Wars rumor I heard. Well, I heard that Andy Serkis' role, now we do know who he's playing. He is playing a character named Supreme Leader Snoke, S-N-O-K-E.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, there's the big, what a lot of people are thinking is that he will be tied to the what is it, First Order, I believe? That's the, First Order, what the remnants of the Empire, that's known as the First Order, that he is going to be in a position of power in the First Order.
Right. Okay.
Also, there's also a plot rumor leaked about Rebels Season 2, that Ahsoka is supposed to fight Darth Vader in Season 2.
Oh, yeah, that's actually confirmed, apparently.
Oh, it's actually confirmed. Oh, okay. Well, I'm just bringing up new topics.
Well, no. I said, before they confirmed pretty much that Ahsoka fight Darth Vader, I think when Ahsoka was introduced in Clone Wars and we realized what she was, we knew that in the future, either she was going to be killed in the Clone Wars, which she wasn't, or if she survived, she would fight Darth Vader and probably die by Darth Vader's hand.
Yeah.
And that is probably that is going to be the huge death, stinger for Rebels Season 2.
Okay, Gloria.
I wonder if Darth Vader will refer to her as Snips.
How creepy would that be?
Where's
Oh,
Gloria?
God.
Gloria.
That stuff's
Gloria,
still
you there?
giving me nightmares. Don't even think about that.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, do you have any news you want to talk about?
My camera's not working, so I can't do any screen shares. But
Well,
but today, they had a new casting for the character Hodge Starkweather on the Shadowhunters TV show.
okay.
John Kerr as Hodge Starkweather. So he's awesome, and they had some behind the scenes pictures and videos and stuff of the filming. They're on to day 4 so far with filming the pilot. Harry Sean Jr. is finished with his time for the first episode of the pilot. His character wrapped with he's happy and thinking about it, and everybody's excited because they had Simon, the one who's going to be playing Simon, playing a guitar in between scenes and stuff, and his character's in a band, so it's like really fun to see that. It's awesome. It's really exciting.
Awesome. I have to read the books first, I think.
You'll like
And
them.
then I know. Well, Danette got me into Divergent and Surgent, so I got to get into that. Oh, who saw Layer Cake? Anybody?
What was it?
What's it called?
Layer Cake.
Is that the Daniel Craig movie?
That they're making a sequel to Layer Cake, and Jason Statham is in it.
Oh, that guy's awesome.
I've never heard of the movie Layer Cake. What is that about?
I did never seen it, but I've heard so much about it from people that have been on the show before. Let me just screen share it. I think it's Daniel Craig, I think. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay. Shame on me for booting this article. Okay, so Jason Statham has confirmed a sequel to Layer Cakes in the works, calling it the most exciting thing on his plate. It was first reported in 2013 that Statham would produce and star in an adaptation of J.J. Connolly's follow-up novel, Viva la Madness, replacing Daniel Craig in the lead role.
Well, that's
So
never good. That's never good if they have to replace the lead role with a different actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, he's busy doing Spectre right now, and I'm actually really excited that they're actually bringing an old-school Bond organization into the new movie.
Really? I'm very excited that they're actually doing that. I think that's going to be one of the. I think that two-parter is going to be the best Bond movies ever. Actually.
Oh yeah, totally.
What is Layer Cake about?
Spectre.
Yeah.
What's Layer Cake about? Is it about a tasty cake? I mean, is it frosty?
You know,
I think it has something to do with like he goes into the crime underworld or something, and the reason it's called layered cake is like because like he goes into like, no pun intended, each different layer of like this crime organization.
I'm gonna actually watch the movie. Shame on me for booting the article, and I'm going to know what I'm talking about. I just announced the sequel. I figured somebody would know what it is in here.
Oh, there was that Independence Day 2 thing that came out.
Yeah,
Oh,
Jeff
God.
Goldblum, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Like, it's been like 20 years after the fact.
And I don't understand how Brett Spinner's in it and he died.
Oh yeah.
They're doing a sequel to Independence Day after all this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense in a way because they took 30 years to do a sequel to Star Wars. So.
I still have a bone to pick with those two directors, though.
Yeah.
Well, like I don't
Master
know.
Qui-Gon,
Yeah.
what's Melachlorians? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Speaking of
I like the concept
guys-
of midichlorians. I wonder what Luke Skywalker's midichlorian cloud is. Hopefully, we'll find out in Episode 7.
His midichlorian count is retconned.
It's over
Yeah.
9,000.
It's 1,000 retconned.
Oh, I thought it was over 9,000.
Speaking of which, I don't know if you guys heard, but we finally got set photos today. And too bad I don't have the link up, otherwise I would post them to you. We finally got to see at least the human versions of Viva Rocksteady from the TMNT sequel. And they cast the WWE wrestler Sheamus
Yes!
as Rocksteady. I don't know how to feel about that. I really don't.
Seamus is the man.
Okay, they're casting people I know. Like, seriously, after the first TMNT, when I heard there's a sequel coming out, I'm like, nope, I'm not seeing it. If the first one was crap, I'm not seeing it. Then I hear Stephen Amell's going to play Casey Jones, and I go, okay, you piqued my interest. Because he is probably the one good thing about that movie. And then I hear they're bringing the original April O'Neil from the original live-action movie. She'll be making a cameo in this movie, and I'm like, okay, now you're actually making me want to go. And then Bebop and Rocksteady coming in. They're recasting the Shredder, as I think Brian, Brian T, I forget his name, from The Wolverine is going to be playing this Shredder. And I'm like, okay, Karai's going to be in it. And I'm like, good, you're doing better. Fix the god-awful CGI for the Turtles' faces, and you may have my ticket.
I'm actually gonna screen share my friend Chris, who was in the last Turtles movie and is part of production with the new Turtles movie. He has his own site, and I met him while they were filming Angels Take Manhattan. So that's when I first met him, and he's a Whovian. And here is his Realm Beyond site. And this is a great page, and he's got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you can see those pictures,
Seamus.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Oh, I hope he kicks somebody in this movie.
Well, you're not gonna put Bebop and Rocksteady unless we're gonna see them in their mutated form. Now that guy is Shredder. I want to see him as Shredder. I mean, Brian T. Yep, there we go. I think after the really bad Shredder we had in the last movie, we need someone who can actually do a good job in the role. Now, the problem is, the biggest question on everyone's mind is that going to be the Shredder that we saw in the last film, who took the mutagen and it survived the fall, or is the Shredder just a title that's passed to the head of the Foot Clan?
Ooh. That's pretty interesting, actually.
Like
you guys are talking about Mutant Turtles? What are you talking about?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay, that's why I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you're not into Turtles?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Not a big deal.
No.
I enjoy listening.
Yeah, if they want to avoid, plot holes, I think having the idea that the Shredder is a title that passed to the leaders of the Foot Clan is actually a really good idea, and it avoids any complications with the previous movie. You can have that Shredder be dead, and we can have a more simplified Shredder and not like a Transformer Shredder like we had in the last. I mean, talk about an over-the-top design. That armor was just way too much.
Yeah, I didn't even see the last one, but I'm not really a Turtles fan.
I think the thing about Teenage Ninja Mutant Turtles is they have a special ability called plot armor.
Wait, isn't that every main character from a movie?
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's like a joke. It's like a cinematic joke. Just thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, that and their main character abilities and everything. Yeah.
Somebody did a awesome. I'm still laughing thinking about it in my head because it was really funny. Somebody did a very awesome Darth Sidious versus Jar Jar Binks. They were like, well, Jar Jar Binks has plot armor, and that makes him impervious to Darth Sidious. It was hilarious.
Well, actually, someone actually made the brilliant point. Every bad thing that has ever happened in the original trilogy is Jar Jar's fault. Because think about it. If he didn't give emergency powers to the Chancellor, he would never have made the Clone Army. The Clone Wars would never have happened. So everything that has happened, all the lives that were lost, all the planets that died, it was all Jar Jar's fault.
I think they did that on purpose. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Well,
I think that they're gonna have bounty hunters go back in time to assassinate Jar Jar before he encounters Qui-Gon and Ben Kenobi. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that he'll have an appearance in Episode 7. We'll find out what happened.
Hey, if they do that, they could reboot the whole original trilogy.
Oh,
they could make it better.
Star Wars Episode 1B.
Yeah, could be.
Well,
At least we wouldn't have Ewan McGregor like hold his mouth and laugh.
That's another.
He killed younglings. He was actually laughing when he held his mouth like that. That's like the funniest thing. That's the stupidest line in creation. Like.
Well, I mean.
He got paid millions of dollars to say that line. He was probably so embarrassed. He's like, I think I'm gonna give the millions back. I have to say that line.
Well,
I didn't think the prequels were bad. I didn't think the dialogue was that bad.
It kind of changed my perception of like Darth Vader, because like I never imagined Darth Vader killing children when I was like going to see the movie and like, oh, he's so cool and stuff.
Man.
Yeah,
but I think one thing the prequels did right was casting Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, and to be honest, I will admit, if I imagined Sir Alec Guinness or Obi-Wan as a younger version of Obi-Wan from the original trilogy, as far as his mannerisms and his demeanor, Ewan McGregor actually pulled off a halfway decent Obi-Wan.
You know why? You know why? One of the reasons they cast him was because apparently there's this triangle part of your face, like it goes from like your eyes to where your mouth is. And Ewan McGregor and the actor who played Obi-Wan in the first series, they have the same triangle on their face, and it's like, what the hell?
That's interesting.
Ratio.
Ewan McGregor is a Time Lord, confirmed.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's apparently related to the guy who played Wedge Antilles in the original series.
Yeah, that's I think his uncle.
Yeah.
I actually thought the prequels were pretty good. I mean, yeah, they looked a little bit like a video game, but I mean, it was still pretty good. I mean, there were people 10 years ago hating on Star Trek Enterprise, and now that there's no new Star Trek on television, they were like, wow, I really miss Star Trek. Star Trek Enterprise was pretty good.
Well, I rewatch the Star Wars movies from time to time, and yeah, I always find myself going back to the original trilogy rather than the prequels, because when I look at the prequels, I'm like, oh my god, too much CGI. I'm like, that...
I can't watch Attack of the Clones. You go from the greatest Jedi battle in Phantom Menace to the worst Jedi battle in Attack of the Clones.
I didn't think it was bad.
What was the worst Jedi battle?
I thought Yoda
It's
versus
like Count Dooku is like,
Count Dooku versus Yoda.
I just do not like that. I just don't like
that. Dude, but that Count Dooku thing, like the way that there's such subtle things in that fight that if you read the books and stuff, it's crazy. Like the way that Christopher Lee, well, I mean, I know it wasn't Christopher Lee who was doing it, but the way they had Dooku fight, if you read about his fighting style, he does it like completely perfectly in that movie. Like it's unbelievable.
Yeah, because Count Dooku studied Form 2 of lightsaber combat, which was Makashi. Makashi was focused on fencing, and definitely it was more effective in lightsaber combat. Mostly against one opponent, but you could do two. But it was that he had a more elegant form of fighting, and they definitely tailored that with Christopher Lee. They wanted something that looked like it was more of like a gentleman style of fighting.
Yeah, right.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, Attack of the Clones was awesome. It had awesome fight between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Jango Fett, and awesome fight with Yoda and Count Dooku. I thought it was awesome.
You see, I like every other scene in Attack of the Clones. Like when Anakin and Padme show up, I'm like, skip, and then I see Obi-Wan, I'm like, hey! And then I skip again when they show up, and I'm like, you can do that too, because it's right back and forth between.
I mean, you get to see why in Attack of the Clones. It's also a critical backstory for Boba Fett. You get to see why Boba Fett's such a badass.
I know, but I mean, to me, it was way too much CGI.
Well, it was too much. I mean, I'm not saying it was perfect. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying story-wise, it was entertaining.
See, you know what it is? My whole concept that story got a little hazy. Okay, because here you have. They have the droids, right? So now they create the clones to destroy the droids, but the droids are their own army in the first place. So now you waste millions of dollars, billions of dollars, trillions of dollars for no reason. And it's just like, I don't think so. Just to hold up a deception of like coming into power and
yeah, but there was what you got to realize is this has happened in real-world politics. Let me give you something that's not conspiracy theory that's happened. Like during the Iran-Iraq War from 1980 to 1988, the United States was funding both the Iraqi army and the Iranian army at the same time. But from the perspective of the Iranians, they were on the U.S.'s side or Iraq's side. They just figured that the U.S. was only helping them, and Iraq was the same way. You had players that were supporting both sides, and you had players that were true patriots of each side in the Iran-Iraq War, and that was the same scenario.
But I'm saying
that's the same scenario.
Group, though. This is not a different country. I mean, this is.
You had the Galactic Confederacy versus the Republic.
But Palpatine's in charge of the droids, and Palpatine's in charge of the clones.
Well, no, but the thing is,
but they were two different groups fighting each other.
Yeah, the Separatists were already thinking about separating before Palpatine got there. But like, as Darth Sidious, he was like, "Hey, if I instigate this a little more, they will separate." Right. And then I'll just, I'll get into power, and I'll tell them, hey, I'm in power, but don't worry, I'll be on your side. Well, the whole time thinking, yeah, I'm going to kill the Separatists when this is all over.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, I mean, this has happened in real wars, in real life, where countries aid and play from both sides, play the combat from both sides.
Pretty cool. There is one thing that I think a lot of people hate on Hayden Christensen for playing Darth Vader, and there, in some respects, he didn't do too good, but the one sequence where he made up for it was when he was in full-blown Darth Vader, Alan Mustafar, and he's killing the Separatists. The one moment where you actually got a chill down your spine is when he was in the room with the Separatists, and then he just closed the doors with that music playing. Everyone just goes, oh, this ain't gonna end well.
Yeah. Well, I like when the mouse droids, like before he gets in the room, you see them like running up the hallway, and then they just scatter. And then didn't that happen in the
original trilogy? They saw him and they went the other way.
Yeah.
Well, let me give you an interesting dilemma of a new generation of Star Wars fans. When I went to Star Wars Celebration last month, there was a lot of younger fans, a lot of teenage fans there, and I talked to some of them, and a lot of the younger Star Wars fans, their favorite movie is Revenge of the Sith, because they saw the prequels first before they saw the original trilogy. Right. So I guess it all depends on your perspective. And then I met some Star Wars fans that this was surprising. They went to Star Wars Celebration, and the only Star Wars they had seen was Clone Wars and Rebels. That was it. And so they went solely for that.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's a whole new generation of fans with a different perspective. But, I mean, I think that once George Lucas is gone, and you're not going to realize how good you had it until he's gone, and you're going to be like, wow, 20 years from now, you'll be like, wow, the prequels are actually not that bad. But,
what the ultimate test is going to be, this is the first Star Wars movie without really any input from George Lucas. Because Disney rejected his scripts, and it's all Disney, and nothing is really his, really.
Yeah, he's got the sideline.
Look what they did with Rebels. Look at what they did with Rebels. No one thought that you could take a story and tap into what made the original trilogy great. Rebels Season 1 was amazing. It introduced new characters. It made you care about new characters. It's a diverse cast. And seriously, when I watched Spark of Rebellion, I watched it because I didn't think I'd find something to reignite that spark that made me like Star Wars. I thought Ezra Bridger was going to be the annoying punk. He's a punk, don't get me wrong, he's a punk, but every character is enjoyable in their own way. Zeb is enjoyable, you have the Mandalorian is enjoyable, you've got, I'm forgetting their names now when I really need you have Chopper, you have Ezra, every single one of them has their own quirks to them that make them likable. And then when you're bringing in characters like Grand Moff Tarkin, and now you're bringing in Darth Vader, plus new interesting elements of the Empire that we've only seen in the expanded universe, like the Inquisitors. I mean, oh my God, what a good villain for Season 1. It's a pity that they didn't keep that Inquisitor around. I hope he survived, because I want to see him more, and he did a fantastic job. talk about a show that exceeded any expectations I had, because I hated the Clone Wars.
I love Clone Wars, the Clone Wars cartoon. I loved it.
I like the Clone Wars micro series. I don't like this Clone Wars that they had.
Yeah, I agree. I like the original one that they had.
Have you seen the trailer for season 2? They're bringing in characters from Clone Wars. They're bringing in Captain Rex and Ahsoka.
Well, I didn't mind it. Ahsoka got annoying, but I feel like in this she's actually more mature, and I don't mind that. When Ahsoka is mature, I like the character. When everything else, I really can't stand her. That's what I was afraid was going to happen when I saw Ezra. But that didn't happen, and it's just a really, really good show, and I like this whole small rebellion growing into what's going to be the Rebel Alliance.
Well, I just want to see Darth Vader fight her and call her Snips.
Really? You want to give me that nightmare? Seriously, we're gonna have that deep voice thing.
And then she calls Darth Vader while she's dueling him. She's like, Sky Guy.
Well, I don't think they're gonna do that, because then you lose that element of awesomeness that's Darth Vader. I think though she'll figure out.
I'm being a smartass. I'm just being joking.
I think she'll figure out who he is before she ends up getting killed. She'll find out who he is.
Well, I mean, the season 2 trailer. Okay, unfortunately, I've only seen the pilot, The Rebels, because it's not available on Netflix. I'm not able to watch it, and I could download it off iTunes, but it costs money, and I'm tied up money. But I've only seen the pilot, and I've seen the season 2 trailer, which looks awesome. But in the trailer, season 2 trailer, she's like, I haven't felt a presence like that since Clone Wars. So it almost hints that way before she even meets Darth Vader, she detects Darth Vader or Anakin Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. She knows that. I think when it comes to, especially during the dark times, stuff like that, you don't exactly know who you're sensing, but you know that you've known that person. There really isn't anything other than that. That's what the Force was like during the dark times. It was very clouded. You couldn't get an accurate read on people.
That's one of the reasons why Episode 7 is called The Awakening. Because the Force is coming back into the power it was beforehand.
Well, I think actually what might be plausible is, Ahsoka might actually initially kick Darth Vader's ass, because she's very talented and has a lot more agility, especially now that Anakin he's now basically a cyborg and doesn't have the mobility that he used to.
Actually, that's wrong. Because despite his handicap, Darth Vader retailored his fighting style. It made it his own, and no Jedi has ever been able to stand up to Darth Vader. No matter how agile or strong, he has always come out on top, because essentially his cybernetic hands were larger than his normal ones, so he had to build a bigger lightsaber. He hates his new lightsaber, by the way, if you read the books. He had to tailor his fighting style in a way that would suit him with his new cybernetic enhancements and his use of the dark side. So a lot of people think that Darth Vader, as we know him, was the best swordsman in the galaxy. No person could match him unless they tapped into his power, which is why Luke was able to defeat him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think. Well, it's just my theory, my opinion. I think that maybe Ahsoka would have the upper hand in the beginning, but then when she finds out he's Anakin Skywalker, maybe she holds back, and then that's the opportunity that Darth Vader uses to kill her.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if, during the fight, he just comes out and says who he was, because one of Darth Vader's things is he has this ability where he can instill fear in your mind, and then just it just doesn't go away while you're fighting him.
I doubt he'll do that, because Darth Vader rejected who Anakin was. He doesn't even know that until I don't think he even remembers that he was Anakin until Luke brings it up. until it's brought up, not by Luke, but until it's brought up in between Empire and Return of the Jedi.
Well, I don't think he ever
redone version.
I don't think he ever forgot who he was.
With the Emperor talking to Darth Vader, because they reshot that where he's like, how is that possible that, like, you know, there's another Skywalker? But originally when it was shot, that was not the case. You know, they didn't put that in there. So that's all just new stuff. You know, and then one thing I don't like about that is it kind of takes away from the original because it keeps altering stuff and making it like Darth Vader has to be like upset that, you know, like making sound effects that Luke's dying. He's like, no, and like whatever. Like they don't need to do that. Like I like the original. Han shot first in my eyes, which I never understood why Lucas listened to a bunch of idiots that were complaining about what a real hero is when his idea of it, you know, Darth Vader, like killing all the children and everything, now you have action figures. Let's play around with that. But it's like you're not worried about that image, but you're worried about Han Solo shooting first, which technically if you're going to be killed and you have a bounty on you, yeah, you do shoot first. What's wrong with that?
Well, you know, Luke Skywalker, I mean, George Lucas actually talked about that. He said that the way it was originally shot, the way it was edited, he always had written that Greedo shot first, but the way it was edited and the way it was shot, it didn't look that way, and he just corrected.
I don't believe that at all.
All right, that's what I'm telling you.
You wouldn't put that in theaters like that.
Like my only gripe with the original trilogy, and this is one of the very few gripes I have with it, is they have the most awesome and badass character, Boba Fett, and he dies in the most pathetic way possible.
Well, technically, they just announced he didn't die officially.
I know he didn't die. I mean, like it's already been.
It's his ass kicked pretty badly.
Yeah, but seriously, I mean, I would have loved to have seen a longer fight between Boba Fett and Luke, because that would have been awesome. But no, Han just had to flail around with a stick.
That's why I never understood why everyone liked him so much. When I first heard people liked him so much, it was like a few years ago, and I just kept thinking to myself, why does everybody like that moron that got his ass handed to him by a blind Han Solo at the beginning of Return of the Jedi? Right. And everyone was like, "How dare you!"
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?" Like, what? He's not that cool.
Yeah.
Well, I
like Boba Fett though. I was a kid.
He looks cool.
I mean, now that he's still alive and he's going to be, I hear he's going to be in Episode 7, and they're going to do a Boba Fett movie. Maybe they could demonstrate why he's such a badass. You know, I mean, I think
I don't like the fact that they made him into a clone. That I was not happy with.
A clone? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I like clones.
In the special edition, they even had the actor who played Jango Fett. They had him reread all of Boba Fett's lines just so he could sound like a clone.
Yeah, I had no problem with that. That's an editing consistency that makes sense. To me, it makes sense.
All right, I just want to get into box office numbers before we go any further. And I actually want to go over the top 10 all-time numbers. And I'm actually going to screen share it while I read it off.
Is this adjusted for inflation, or is this just absolute numbers?
This is just without talking about adjusted for inflation. Avatar #1, $2,788,000,000. Titanic, $2,186,000,000. Avengers, the first Avengers, $1,518,000,000. Now, the reason why I'm showing this list is because, you know, we have Avengers: Age of Ultron that's getting very close to reaching now $1,300,000,000. It actually jumping. Okay, I foresee it passing the #5 movie, Harry Potter, Deathly Hallows Part 2, which is $1,341,000,000. Now, I don't think it will reach Fast and Furious 7, which is $1,500,000,000, but it's going to be right there. It's going to be Avengers and Fast and Furious 7, and then Avengers: Age of Ultron. That's what I predict. It's going to be #5 of all time.
Well,
Yeah, it won't beat the original Avengers because the original Avengers did better opening weekend than the second Avengers.
Yeah, it starts dropping off after a while.
I think, though, if the Russos do Infinity War justice, I don't think Part 1 is going to catch up to them, but Part 2, if anything has taught us when movies are split into two parts, this like Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, look where that is. When Infinity War Part 2 comes out, that's when they're going balls to the wall crazy, and they're throwing everything in. And if the Russos...
You have Guardians of the Galaxy in the movie, you have Doctor Strange, you have every single Marvel character movie in there. And their mothers, probably, because it's just like ridiculous.
You mean
if the Russos do as good with that as they did with Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier was fantastic. If they do as good with Infinity War and Civil War as they do with this, with Winter Soldier, my God, Infinity War could actually make that top 10, and hypothetically, this is big fantasy football, as you put it, could surpass Avengers 1.
And the rumor is that Nebula may turn good to go against Thanos and bring all the heroes back to life.
I like the comics.
So
stole the gauntlet back, and there we go. Everything's safe.
Well, we're
I actually have a funny feeling that I think some of those heroes are actually going to survive.
Well, we're talking about. I just want to say something really fascinating in contrast. You're talking about box office numbers and the top 10 grossing of all time. If you look up the top 10 grossing movie or the top grossing movie of all time, adjusted for inflation and just absolute ticket numbers,
Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind is number one of all time, just based on the number of tickets that were sold. But I mean, back then, movie tickets were like $1 or like less than $1.
Yeah, I mean, looking at those numbers, I mean, this is actually something really interesting. I heard Tomorrowland just came out, and Tomorrowland really is getting lukewarm receptions from the critics and not doing well at the box office. So a lot of that brings up the question: are original ideas, which a lot of people are saying we want original IPs for movies and whatnot, are those really not successful? Are franchises
really the whole point of this is that I'm going to give you a story, okay? Originally, the Titanic was supposed to come out in the springtime, summertime, okay? And they would come up against sequels and all these crazy movies, and they came up with the genius idea to delay it, to come out when nothing's coming out in like December. And basically the slow movie period's January, February, March, whatever. And because there was nothing really out there, that movie was #1 for months, okay? Which was unheard of that a movie would do so good in December, all right? When Avengers came out and it started staying #1, movie companies started getting scared where for the first time in history, you saw them delay movies for 6 months, a year even, to have the proper placement of that movie. They delayed G.I. Joe for like, I think it was like a year.
Yeah.
And when they released it, it was a complete success because there was no competition against it, and it got a green light for another sequel. Okay, Turtles was delayed, the original Turtles, and when Turtles actually did come out, it did great because there was nothing really crazy about it. When you have movies like Star Wars Episode 7, Avengers: Age of Ultron, all this stuff, these movies are going to eat you alive, and because everybody is going to go see what they know what it is. Like, now, original movies, yes, are fantastic, but they're not going to stand a chance going up against Age of Ultron and Star Wars and all that. So you need to start releasing those movies when those movies are not out, basically, because it's bad timing. You don't put Tomorrowland out now. It's good. It's actually a failure right now.
Yeah,
it's not going to make its budget back. It's not.
And look at the stare-off that Marvel and DC had when Batman v Superman and Civil War were meant to go on the same weekend. And everyone was wondering for like 2 weeks who was going to blink first.
DC blinked first.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the only reason why Tomorrowland has failed. I mean, what the
Well,
flick?
I heard it wasn't that great anyway.
Yeah, what the flick show on YouTube? I don't know if you watched that. I like it because it's Young Turks Network and they do movie reviews. They said that the script was just weakly written, and
I heard the third act was crap.
yeah, it just said it was just poorly written. They had good concepts, good premise. It was just poorly written and hastily thrown together. It's the way they
And I still want to see Mad Max because Mad Max is an actual success that they already greenlit the next sequel. In fact, they even knew was going to be a success that they signed for a 3-picture deal. The next Mad Max is Mad Max: The Wastelands. So
wasn't that interested in the new Mad Max movie because there's no
well,
Mel.
it's a success regardless.
I'm
Fair
just
enough.
sitting over here, like, twiddling my thumbs, waiting for news about Godzilla 2016 and 2018.
Where is our, Toho Godzilla?
It's gonna come out fall next year. I'm just waiting for news about it.
I want to see pictures. I want to see what the
I want to
hell.
know what he's gonna look like. I just want to know. I'm so.
Are they getting a trailer to Skull Island?
Are they rebooting Godzilla again, or what's going on?
Toho's starting to make Godzilla movies again in Japan.
Yeah,
There'll be
but
two
that's-
versions.
Oh, so it's going to be the original Godzilla.
Yep.
Okay, we lost somebody.
Hello?
Chris Ferner.
Yeah, I'm sitting on
That-
Steampunk Star Race.
I'm waiting to see what Ghidorah is gonna look like in the Legendary universe.
I know.
I can't wait for that.
Well, I can't. I got sorry to say this, guys. I gotta go because this is like 12:37 here,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
The original plan was to do 3 podcasts, and we wound up doing just a one big longy one. So
yeah, I think
I'm actually gotta go to work too. Yeah. What's that, Chris?
The Megacast.
The Mecca cast. Yeah. I actually have to go to work, so I have to go to bed for a couple hours and then get out of here. So
All right.
I am going to say this. No, before I go, I have to make an announcement.
All right.
I have to say that, and this is a little bit about Doctor Who for a second. When I went to see the filming of Angels Take Manhattan in a City, I met many wonderful people who I keep in contact with on Facebook. One of them, Chris, I met, who Realm Beyond Sight, he's a great guy, Turtles. And I met another, my friend Laura, who she is amazing costume designer. She designed Sucker Punch costumes, VHS Viral. And she's going to have a very bright future. She's going to be doing something I'm going to be announcing later on. I'm very excited about her future. In fact, when I had talked to her about it, when I do decide to make my sci-fi novel into a movie, I want her to do the costumes because she's just absolutely amazing. But, there's going to be a special announcement I'm going to say later on. But it's amazing, where this YouTube thing has brought me. I met a lot of different people from a lot of different parts of the world, and it's a great outlet. I met you, David, I met Chris, and we just all could come together and just have fun.
Yeah.
And just you lose track of time. You don't even know what time it is, and then you're gonna be dying tomorrow. You gotta go to work. You're like, but still, it's fun.
It's
Right?
worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it. It was worth it. I do apologize to Daniel and Mackenzie and Jacob, who was not in there but was connected with Mackenzie, whatever. We will do a cast tomorrow. Hopefully I have a voice because it's in and out. So these guys helped me out a great deal tonight. Allergy season, I guess, or whatever. So have a great weekend. We will be back tomorrow, whoever's available. And we will be doing big, huge Real Whovians cast tomorrow. Definitely need for it because I didn't get to talk about any of the stuff that's happening. So we got some cool stuff lined up. The Real Whovians cast, the Everything Show, the horror cast is coming back. The Real Walking cast is coming back. So we got to talk about Fear of the Walking Dead, and we're going to be doing the Game of Thrones cast because I'm caught up. So just join us. All right. Have a great day, night, whatever. Losing track of time. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, David.
Yeah.
No problem.
Take care. Bye for now.